If you studied hard, have faith, it's going to work out fine. And then remember, it's a multiple choice true false test. So the true false are a 50-50 shot anyway. And the multiple choice part is 25. And so you do process of elimination. And so make sure you remember that. Do process of elimination. If you go if it's overwhelming when you see different choices, you think through what does not make sense. And then you eliminate that and then go with the other ones. That's how I always did it. That actually helped me great. Read the question, glance through the answers. If one picks up, but that's it, then make sure that's it, and then make sure the other ones are not it. Or if I don't know, then go the other way around. If I don't know, go the other way around and say, which one does not make sense? And then eliminate those and then narrow it down. Strategy. Multiple choice tests are strategy tests. Yeah. And I'll help you along with the rest. So that's good. Because the other thing, and look at that. Oh, there is more people. Look at that. We got more people. Any questions? Hello, everyone. In the exam for both, what do you mean by that?
I mean Wednesday.
So if you're Wednesday, you come Wednesday. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, if you're Wednesday, you come Wednesday. If you're today, you come today. No, we got to do it like that. Where's my charger? I need to find the charger. Sorry about that. So you don't need to come both days. It's only one day, and we're only going to do the test, and then we're going to go home after that. We're not going to stick around after that.
Yeah, so I can't go to the lab today because they're going to do the test.
Can you come on Wednesday? Can you come on Wednesday?
Yes, I can come on Wednesday.
If it's one or two only of you guys, Wednesday I can take it. If it's everybody, of course, we can't do it. So I will only me approved people can do Wednesday instead of Monday. But yes, if that's your problem, I can take you. You're okay. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't want to limit it. I just need it. Well, I do want to limit it because we do have those labs for a reason. We can't have everybody, but if somebody's sick, I don't want you to come being sick and then make everybody else sick. So then reach out to me. So we have a few slots that I can transfer for those reasons. But we can't do it a free-for-all because that would be a little bit of a chaos. All right. Any other questions to the test? We have an exam today in lab or hold on. Just speak up if you can because it's hard for me to read the tests. No, we have the test is today. And we only have the test. We don't have anything else. And then we're going to do next week, we're going to start with the muscles and the bones in the lab. Sorry, I almost have my cable ready here. There we go. And then we're going to basically meet in lab. We process the material of the previous week in lecture. So that way, when you come next week to the lab, we already have done the skull and we've done the facial muscles. So, after the test, you start focusing on that. And then in lab, we're going to go through them with the term list and look at the skulls and all of that kind of stuff. And
the way the questions are structured on our quizzes throughout the week, are the exam questions going to be structured the same, like the way they're worded?
They're very similar. They're straight based on the bullet points that I've been referring to. And so, they're not worded the same in a way that there's not this long paragraph. The questions are a little bit shorter on the exam. In the questionnaires, I'm kind of reprocessing the whole material. But then in the tests, I'm, for example, I'll ask you what is anatomy, what is physiology, or I say anatomy is the study of structure, and then you say true or false. And I'm not explaining it at first.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, otherwise it would be way too long. You have way too much reading. And again, it's straight out of the bullet points. And again, you can use a 1.5x7 flashcard, front and back, written by handwritten. You're allowed to use that. Any other questions to the test?
Oh yeah, would there be any like labeling how we did in the first week assignment
No,
of arts?
No, we won't do that during the test. The test is straight Scantron, A, B, C, D, E, or A, B, C, D, really. And there's also no matching on the test like that. Sometimes there can be like that, stuff like that, but I don't have it on the test. We do a lot of the labeling during the weeks when we work the material, and then during the second test, the lab test, that is more, that we do not we don't do labeling, but I put a dot on a muscle, for example, and you have a list of muscles, and then you write down which one that is. So that's more like it that way.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's actually a fun test. By the time you get there, you'll be fine. We'll be okay. We get all these terms in the heady. You just have to make sure you come to lab. All right. Any other questions on the test topic? Because if not, we can go to this week. But this week is, it's not going to be that big. Well, I shouldn't say that. That's not fair. But again, the test. Oh, and then once you've done the test, let me take myself out a little bit here. Once you've done the test for this material, you can, don't forget the material, of course, but you don't have to have it as an active piece anymore. You're not going to be asked again about this cytology and things like that. It's more like we incorporate it in the discussion from now forward, whatever we've learned so far. And there is no cumulative final at the end. So make sure you're also aware of that. So don't worry about that. So when we look at this week, we look at skull and facial muscles, and I have a couple lectures that we did, and then afterwards we have these regular questions again that you're used to by now. I hope, again, those you can take over and over again at the highest score counts. Yeah, that's about it for that. And then we have a cell model discussion, just a brief check-in about your cell model, and explain a little and look at a couple other ones and say like, oh, that was kind of cool, and say why. You don't go like, oh, that sucked. Don't do that one. Just be, but we learn from each other that way. If you actually do that before the test, then you can then check off the cell stuff all together, because that's sort of the leftover from this last part. And then after that, we're going to get into this newish way of doing things like we've done it in the first week, where we go into, let me immerse myself as a student, where we go into labeling and coloring stuff. And so wrong week. There's the week. So here we got the skull, for example. We go in there. I have a bunch of videos, and then I have a bunch of videos, and then I have skull terms. And the videos, mostly, some of them are a little more elaborate, because like this watch I haven't owned in a long time. So this is old stuff, but it's still very relevant. Some of them might be for a little higher class, but all the terms in here are indicated and described. And I have a couple of different videos, because then you see from a couple of different angles, and that might be helpful. And look, they're not long; they're like 10 minutes. So I think watching those and then going through these terms, and then what you do is all these terms, I want you to label and color on a picture. Now you can do it annotation in here, or you can go and download further up here. Sorry, I'm jumping up and down. I'm a little rusty on this. See up here, there's the anatomy picture. That's the same picture that you can download and print out. Or if you have the booklets, it's already there for you as well. You have it in the color labeling section. And so what you need to do is you need to label each term on this list one time. So if we say, let's say we say the frontal bone, that's kind of an easy one. The front of the body is sort of right here. So the frontal bone is the bone in the front of the head. So you indicate the frontal bone, and then see underneath, it says superciliary arches and glabella. And then these below here are not bones, but these are parts of bones that we give names to in order to talk about them. That's really why we're doing this naming thing, so we can talk about those things. And so I call these landmarks. So we have the bones, and then we have landmarks. And when you do the indication here, you say, let's say you do a with a stylus or with a pencil or whatever you use on paper or electronic, you say, this is the frontal bone. And then actually we have a few pictures here, and we have one that comes here right from the front. And you can also say, this is the frontal bone. You only have to indicate it one place, but you can do more. And then see these lines. I wasn't able to take these lines out, so just ignore those lines. You don't need to do all those holes. That would be horrible. There's way too many of these holes. So do ignore the lines. Just go with the term list. And then let's say then this is the frontal bone, and then you draw, you don't draw, you color a little bit, you color the frontal bone, and then this here is the superciliary arches, the eyebrows is actually where they are. So that's a landmark, and so the second term was that. So you indicate that, say superciliary arches, and then mark that with a coloring. And the coloring sort of helps the imprinting into the brain, so it helps with the memorization. It's sort of a neurological thing. And so that's basically how we're going to have, from now forward, every chapter has one of these term lists with terms, with videos, and then with pictures to label either electronically or on paper. On paper, you take a picture, upload it. Actually, I had a person make videos with it. So that's kind of funny. They actually took the picture into the iMovie and then started making videos with it and pointed to it. So that was kind of interesting. So any questions to that kind of a format of an assignment? Okay, if not, that's pretty good. If they come up, just shoot me a text or send me an email or something. And so we have these now for each of the anatomy parts. So that's how we sort of learn the anatomy terms. And then some of the color labelings also have some questions with it that you just do short answer to it. Or like in the muscles, we ask for what the muscle attachments are, and then also what the muscle function is when it contracts. And so when we get into that, we'll elaborate on those a little bit. But that's pretty much it for those types of activities. And this week, we don't have a health kit activity. We're going to start again next week with that, go a little strong on that in the next few weeks. But this week is sort of a little easing into that second part. But with the test, it's not really an easing into it. You have enough work on your hand. And then we'll finish up with the questions and tips as well. And I hope we got this laid behind. Yeah, there it is. So we finish up with that the week just to get me some ideas or each other some questions of how things are going, what kind of wins you have, what kind of questions are still left. And then that kind of closes out this week number 4. And then from there, we're going to keep going. Let me leave the student view because I didn't publish all of those. From there, then we'll be going into the joints, the skeletal, and then the muscles. And that will take us a number of weeks to do. And then we get into test 2, but test 2 will take somewhere in week 9 or even week 10, depending. I haven't figured that out yet. We played with it last semester when it was sort of the first time back, and then we'll refine it this time around. Okay, and so then that is pretty much all I have on the week's situation. Any questions to that? Otherwise, I wish you a wonderful start, and I'll see some of you tonight. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.